I'm Rachael Blaze into the fire. I'm right here at Midwest Training Center in Schaumburg, Illinois. We're about to interview some fighters and get some great footage.
Goddamn thing, hold your head up high. When the hard times come, we have the strength to defy. Believe in yourself, let the owl leave the bone. Honor is among us, honor is all we know.
Hi, I'm Rachael Blaze. I'm here at Midwest Training Center right here in Schaumburg. Into the fire, that's where we're at. Hi, Shoney Carter.
Hi Blaze.
How you feeling tonight, all sweaty?
I feel fine. You know, my VO2 max is up, and yeah, I'm not even tired. I'm just sweating.
Yeah, you are so.
Just a little bit. I'm perspiring.
I understand you got a fight coming up.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
I started taking Geritol and my supplements from Pfizer. I'd like to thank them for one day sponsoring me for being over 40. Yeah, 1 a day plus for men. You know, I'm training at Midwest Training Center. I train at several gyms: Sam Colonna's Boxing, Chicago Fitness Center, All-American Academy of Martial Arts. You know, I mean, I'm doing things. You know,
It's hard to catch up to you, Tony.
It is. You know, I'm not moving in. I'm just on the move. You know,
you're on the move.
I'm on the move.
That's good. What do you think about training at different places and getting different techniques from different places?
I really like the idea of getting fresh bodies to adjust, to overcome, to adapt to what different opponents versus your same opponents.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, your same training partners can become stale. You can become stale to them. So by having a variety of places to train and gyms and showing loyalty to Chicago, not just any one gym anymore because I've been there, done that. Essentially, I'm doing this because I love the passion of the journey, and the journey takes me here today.
So how do you get around Chicago? Let these people know how you get around.
I have a 50-pound Alice pack, all-purpose lightweight individual carry equipment pack from the U.S. Marines, and I ride a mountain bike, even in the cold weather.
A mountain bike, you guys.
I'm in Schaumburg,
Everywhere
where I live in
Chicago.
Chicago. No, I mean, running with the bulls, climbing pyramids, running the Great Wall of China. And, you know, playing the base jump in Norway. You hear me, Mari ass?
We talked a little bit on radio about the UFC and the lawsuit that's going on right now. Now that the names have been revealed,
wow.
What do you think about that?
Well, you know, it creates a very interesting situation. I've been contacted, but I mean, for me to go up against the Zuffa entity, you know, and risking my, not my reputation, but, you know, a lot at stake, countersuits and things like that. Going into litigation is a long, arduous, litigious process. And I did agree to fight for the little bit of pennies they gave me, but I appreciate the fact that I can be called Class 100. And those of you who don't know, I'm one of the first 100 UFC fighters. And so the way I look at it is just like, well, if they came to me and said, well, this is what we got before them, against them, are you interested? I said, y'all got to show me something more than a dollar sign, because it's not about me getting 2 free tickets to a UFC in Chicago. It's just going through the whole arduous process of litigation and mediation and arbitration.
This process could take a little longer than what people are thinking.
Right. This ain't like, oh, we done in 2 weeks. This could be months or years. And I'm not trying to create enemies that I already got enough friends and enough family to kick me in the arse.
What do you think about those who came forward? How is that? I mean, what message do you think that they're trying to send?
That the fighters are not happy. But, I mean, being in the business of MMA with the entity of Zuffa, you have to deal with what they say goes. They are your employer. Now, you're a restricted agent of the employment, but you have to be able to adhere and shut your mouth. And I'm not making it like he's the demon. But it is what it is.
I've heard the Antichrist. I've heard all kinds of things about Dana.
He's done an exemplary job at marketing the entity of UFC.
Right.
The fighters, details are sketchy. You know the popular names. What about the other 1,000 fighters that are under contract?
Exactly. Now, is it that they possibly could be afraid to come forward
Hell
because they don't want to battle that?
Yeah, nobody wants to fight a fight that you can't win.
But here's the thing, Shoney. When does it end? When do you get the change? If nobody stands up, you don't get change.
Hey, Bill Gates, give me a shout. Mark Cuban, give me a call. I want to buy an organization. Warren Buffett, what's up? From Dana White to Shoney Dark. Dana White, Tony Dark. You know, get it. Tony Stark, Tony Dark.
Tony Stark, Tony Dark. What are you doing?
I gotta go punch and kick some dudes.
He's gotta go.
I'll be right back, y'all. Listen, I talk a lot, so I gotta go punch even more. Okay? I gotta
All
fight
right,
good.
Tony.
All right.
This is Rachael Blaze. I'm here with Anthony Goodwin, who's a pro MMA fighter here at Midwest Training Center. Anthony, you've been training here for how long?
It's been about 2.5 years on and off. You know, it's real hard for me to get sponsorships. I mean, I'm 20-3 as an amateur and 3-3 as a pro. And, you know, it's not easy for me to get sponsorships. And I've been doing this for 8.5, 9 years now, training. And in the gym all the time, and I don't see any payouts such as other than selling tickets for the people who are putting on the show.
That's because I've seen a lot on Facebook where sponsors are upset because this person didn't do what they said they were going to. But I'm afraid that all of this is all miscommunication. I really see most of the fighters promoting the brands that they're being sponsored by. So I don't see that as a problem. And I think that for you guys need more coverage, more media coverage. I don't know if you've noticed, but the MMA scene is kind of down-died a little bit here in Chicago. Ever since it became sanctioned, it's not as much.
Right.
So with that being said, you really have to work extra hard to get sponsors. How is it here in Illinois?
It's the same. I feel like it's the same way. I mean, we are busting our butt to get sponsors, and what do I get? Well, let's put down the rules and let's figure out what you want. What do you want? And then a lot of people are saying, oh, well, that's too much. Well, what is too much? I mean, we're in the gym, we got to pay for our gym memberships, we got to pay for our coaches, we got to pay for travel.
And it's expensive. It is a life career move. You decided to make. Hi, I'm Rachael Blaze. I'm here at Midwest Training Center here in Schaumburg, Illinois. I'm here with John Osman. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yes, all right, score. I want to ask, you're a pro. You're a pro fighter, right?
Yes.
And you obviously have fought with WEC.
I had 2 fights with them, and I did 2 fights outside of it.
Okay, and obviously you fought here in the local scene here in Chicago, right? Well, I kind of want to ask some fighters their opinions about some of the things that are going on with UFC or in the fight industry in general. Obviously, the fans or people think that there needs to be some kind of change. So what do you think about it?
Well, financial change would be nice. However, you got to work for it. And if you're not going to bust your butt in the gym and put in the hours, it's kind of hard to justify paying you. Anybody can jump in and do it at any time. What makes you stand out from the other people? Like, why do you deserve more money than the other guy? For the fighters to come in knowing what the game is already, and then to expect it to change just for them, that's not fair. They already know what they're getting themselves into. If they want to change, I hate to use the word union. I'm not a big union supporter by any means. I think as far as the big guys are concerned, they're looking at us like independent contractors that are just expendable. They'll fire you and pick up the next guy. There's a million guys waiting to jump in.
There is. There's a long list.
So it's supply and demand. They need us. However, there's a million of us, and there's only a few of them with any credibility that are willing to pay more than $1,000 a fight. I would say that there's probably no fighters that are afraid to join them. If they get a chance to join them because they know that's the top stage, so they kind of have a monopoly on it. It's sort of, which is why the government jumps in and breaks up monopolies. However, it's a tough nut to crack.
It is tough, and I've noticed that with a lot of fighters.
They should be able to run their business free as they want, and for somebody to come back and sue after they signed the contract, knowing what that contract was, and saying, well, I didn't like it now 10 years later. Too bad. You signed that contract years ago, and it said that they're going to exploit you. Deal with it. You signed it, you were giddy and waiting to get in there, you got in there and did your thing. Either you succeeded or you didn't succeed.
I'd like to advocate for you guys to make sure you guys are getting more. So actually, I like the idea that they're standing up against a monopolized, big, huge, large organization, because if somebody doesn't, then they're just going to continue on.
I completely agree.
They're going to continue on doing what they're doing, and it's just got to, now they've cut out sponsorships for you guys. How much is Reebok really giving to you guys?
$500.
Right, exactly.
Top.
So that's my thought is like, did that Reebok uniform thing, did it really benefit the fighter or did it benefit UFC? Obviously, I mean.
Well, the only thing I really got a big opinion on is for the fighters to come back and try to sue via lawsuit to get more money they feel they were entitled to, they signed that contract. Going forward, new fighters going in and current fighters under contract, that would be a completely different ballgame. That is open to negotiation, I would say. You know what I mean?
Now, what do you think about CM Punk being in the UFC?
I don't hate on that much. I always got a kick out of him. Like, my brother likes wrestling a lot, so I'll flip by it once in a while, and he was always fairly entertaining. I like him. Good luck to him. I don't have any.
Do you think he has any game? I mean, like.
Well, he's definitely athletic. He's a professional athlete. He's a professional wrestler. He lifted his whole life. He's got to have athleticism. Obviously, he's got to have some cardio. He's got to be scrappy. We saw Brock Lesnar how explosively quick he was. He could easily. He might not by any means dominate anybody at 205 or 185, whatever it's going to be at. But he could. I think just his sheer athleticism.
Give a show, right?
Wait, you won't have a high school wrestler allowed to do a jiu-jitsu tournament at the beginner level, or even the intermediate level. They got to go higher up. I think it's the same kind of thing. He's such a good athlete. He should be able to do okay. Somebody could take his block right off, but he'll probably do all right. I don't think he's going to embarrass himself.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him fight.
And I think I heard he used to train, or he does train. So I don't think he's that alien to it. It should kind of be okay.
No, I think it'll be interesting. It should bring some interesting.
He's from here, isn't he?
Yeah,
Chicago. Well, thank you guys very much.
Yeah. Did the remix.
Okay, fight Who's Your Fight Club? February 7th versus Jared McMahon. Jared's 12-3. It's both of our first fights at bantamweight, so we're both moving down a weight class. I haven't fought in a while. I was actually coaching him for a while. Okay.
Obviously, there's going to be some big major litigation going on with UFC.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think it's going to bring change to the industry?
Yeah, I mean, usually whenever, pretty much every major sport where the government got involved, as far as law, like football and everything, this was decades ago, but yeah, it always changed the sport. You get players associations, things like that. You have to be extremely recognizable for them to be able to use you without putting the letters UFC on you or Reebok. Mm-hmm. So yeah, unless somebody can pick you out of a crowd, you're not going to get a sponsor. Yeah, I've heard the athletic commission changed a lot of things in the last couple of years. I'm actually from Pennsylvania. It's really picking up in PA.
Okay.
But same idea. The commission sometimes isn't the easiest to work with for promoters, so sometimes fighters like to fight in other states.
And what do you think of it since you've been here so far?
I mean, actually, that is a good point. I don't think I've seen many of our pros fight in Illinois. I've only been at this particular team for 8 months now, and yeah, most of our professional fights have been outside of the state because promoters for professional shows apparently prefer to put them on out-of-state amateur everywhere. UFC's on Fox and everything, though. You actually bring in the demographics from the major sports as well. So I think there's a lot of crossover for UFC. You got everything from pro wrestling to pro football to skateboarding to whatever.
Now, if you were Dana White, what would you do differently? What would you try to do differently?
I think he played it pretty smart. I mean, I'd imagine there's not much longer left. He's, they always bring up his retirement, so he obviously did as much as he could, as quick as he could, and then, yeah, how the sport evolves from there will be somebody else's problem, I think. And you can't really blame. I don't know. I mean, as a human being, if I work my butt off for something that nobody had any hope in for so long, then all of a sudden everybody's turning around and putting their hand out to me, maybe I'd be a little upset about it too. Sometimes personal feelings get chalked up. Hey, 20 years ago, I was going bankrupt trying to make this work, and now you all got your hands out. I don't feel that way. I mean, I'm the fighter. I want to get paid, but I can see where he's coming from for sure when you work so hard at something.
So obviously your top thought is to be able to fight.
Yeah.
That's what your
that's kind of how I've always fought anyway. I'm a little behind. I'm 32 years old, so back when I even first turned pro, there wasn't a lot of sponsorship and things out there, and now more like these 20 to 25-year-olds, they're really good at hustling, getting 50 sponsors a fight, selling tens of thousands of dollars in tickets for a single fight.
It's incredible.
And I was more one of those guys don't spend your time doing that, spend your time in the gym and fight more often. That's the thing about an individual sport. You can approach it from whatever works best for you. I'm not the best salesman in the world, so I'd rather stay healthy and fight more and spend more time in the gym. Versus I have buddies that literally sell $20,000 in tickets for a fight.
That's incredible.
So they only have to fight 3-4 times a year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I appreciate the exposure.
Life is a game, I heard the homies say. Well, I came to win, so I'm not here to play.
Kevo. Kevo, you are a pro fighter, correct?
Yes.
And how long have you been fighting for?
It's about 7 years.
7 years. And you've been here at this particular gym for how long?
7
7
years.
years.
Nowhere else.
Nowhere else. Okay, that's good. I'm just, Shoney Carter kind of goes a little bit of
he's
everywhere.
all over, yeah.
And,
It's Mr. International,
He's
all
yes,
over.
Mr. International climbing pyramids. There's a huge lawsuit that's going on with UFC.
Right.
I would like to get your thoughts on that. Do you think it's really going to bring change to the industry?
I don't know. I think it's fine because I like the fact that now the local fighters are going to be able to get those sponsorships now. And we're going to be able to get after those. Now, I think it's great the UFC did it.
Okay.
It's fine with me because obviously I'm not fighting UFC yet. So
Right.
that's why, if I was fighting UFC, I'd probably be a little aggravated at it. But that just molds my way to get to the top too, to be one of those fighters that get that money,
And obviously Bellator doesn't limit their sponsorships as of yet. Thank God they're not following that suit.
They're not going to do. They will probably won't.
Okay, good.
No.
Because
I
I would hate for that to happen. But with the uniforms, have you seen the uniforms?
No, I haven't seen them yet.
My Reebok? Oh,
Bad?
they're kind of whack.
Terrible. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I believe it.
I'm not a Reebok fan, so I'm a Nike fan. If
Right.
it was a Nike shirt, I might
Listen,
buy it.
if Reebok's paying me, I'll like it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If
That's-
Reebok's paying me, I'm going to like it.
You're gonna like it. You're gonna.
Fights, like how many fights I can do in a year, It's just, it depends with that, just how many shows are being put on. Usually I fight in the XFO or the Hoosier Fight Club, but with how the sanctioning is going now with Illinois, it's just nobody's throwing shows. It's like you're saying, it's cost so much money here, Everywhere else
it's
is
a
great,
lot of money.
But yeah, it sucks. But I mean, I'm an old fighter, so it's all right. I don't mind if I fight twice or 3 times a
Everybody
year.
says they're old.
I'm
Shoney's old, and he's still
old.
fighting.
Yeah. He's old. I'm like 5 years younger than Shoney, so I'm right there. But a lot of these guys are 21, 22, 23. So. But it's fine for me. If I was a young little go hard, then it kind of aggravated me. But I mean, like when I was an amateur, I got 20 amateur fights. I was fighting every other 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, and it was great. This is not a sanction. Like
Yeah.
they didn't have to go through the commission or anything else. And now it's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing here in Illinois. That's why UFC don't come to Illinois and fight.
Hardly ever. I mean, what was it?
Because of the commission.
It was like every couple
Once.
years. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Maybe there needs to be a little bit of change here, localized.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because I noticed that some of the amateur fighters now they don't have as many opportunities. You've got
Right.
Total Fight Challenge, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But there's really not a huge opportunity to just kind of dip and dabble and explore around. I mean, that's
Right.
how you get your experience.
Everybody's got to really build up and make that voice heard, because if not, like how the UFC took over and powered everything. Yeah, it's crappy what they did, but they're smart. You can't hate on their business aspect.
It's
because-
business.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's business
And guess
until-
what? You're sleeping, you lose.
Right.
That's what it is.
You got to keep
They
it.
own everything. And that's what it is. I thank God for Bellator and World Series of Fighting and everything else. But I mean, it's still tough to make it there. And the caliber of fighters there to the UFC. I mean, you've seen guys cross over and just they get beat. You know what I'm saying? It's the best. The best are in the UFC, but you gotta go where. If you go to UFC, you gotta know what it's gonna be.
I definitely want to really impact this industry, bring about some change, make a difference for you guys. From what I'm hearing, you guys don't really have a voice. They don't have a voice. They can't really say because they want to fight. If nobody wants to get blacklisted, right?
Right.
So I'm the voice. Beat me up. I know, aren't I bad?
Don't change a goddamn thing, hold your head up high. When the hard times come, we have the strength to defy. Believe in yourself, let the owl leave the bowl. Honor is among us,